Hi, welcome to Infinity Warrior. I am Nita. I'm your host. I am the founder of Infinity Nation and so excited that you are sharing your time with me. Guess what? So excited. First, happy International Women's Day to all of you women out there, you powerful, absolute goddesses, rocking it, pulling yourself through, whatever turbulence that you have on your plate. You are showing up and you are doing it for yourself and your family every single day. And I'm so, so proud. So proud of you. I'm so inspired by the women in my life. And just a quick thank you. Thank you. Like, look in the mirror and just receive how much you glow, because the world sees that and the world needs that. Thank you. So, something exciting to share. I'm a little sporadic with my podcast. We all know that, but I had the most brilliant treat. I was logging in yesterday because I'm like, okay, I need to get a podcast going. And I saw that on Spotify alone, so my podcast is available on, I think, 7 or 8 channels. And I know I'm really old. It's probably not called a channel, but we're just going to allow me that little nuance. So anyway, there are 33 people who have subscribed to my podcast on Spotify. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. That is very, very powerful. Very powerful. All this work that I have been doing and, sharing so openly, so diligently, like with my heart, leading the conversation. And you guys you're showing up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Invite your friends. we'll make a podcast party. Anyway, I just wanted to take a moment and thank all of you guys. And you guys inspire me. You inspire me to be a better woman. Thank you. Okay, so today's episode, I actually have not decided exactly what it's about, but I do want to talk to you so deeply. I know what it's going to be about. I want to talk to you, though, first about a new program that I have launched. And it is now available on the Infinity Nation website, yourinfinitynation.com. Go check it out. It is called Alignment Within. And Alignment Within is all about building the safest, healthiest you. So we are looking at your spiritual, your mental, your emotional safety of self and your physical. But this is not an exercise program for your body per se. This is really an exercise program for learning to set boundaries, loving yourself, self-care, learning how to ground yourself when you're having a mental health, emotional health, what is it called? Escalation or disintegration, right? If you've ever had a panic attack, and I've got a little laugh in my voice as I say that, not because they are not fuck all serious, but simply because I just had one last week. It was a / PTSD attack, but regardless, it's fucked. It was a little bit of an escalation and a disintegration all packed up into one. Oh, I tell you, sometimes just be so thankful to just survive the day. That's enough. And last Thursday, it was enough to just survive the day. Now, I say that knowing that I didn't show up in all ways possible for Nita, right, in running my new lift of my business. I went into survival mode lift of my business. Now that I have launched Alignment Within product, I have shifted into sales and talk and really getting the product out there, because of course nobody's going to know if you've built something amazing unless you go out and you tell people that you have built something amazing that can help them, or in the case of this program, help groups, right? If you are a group leader, or if you know a group leader, if you have a church group, if you have a recovery group, if you have a growth group, everybody can do this independently yet together. So there's that group option as well. So anyway, if you have created something that will help a lot of people, it doesn't do any good to not talk about it. So last Thursday, I'd kind of shifted into sales mode. I'm using air quotes here so you can maybe feel them. Feel me doing air quotes. But of course, the PTSD panic attack hit, and it has to do with financial abuse from my past, and until I'm fully, like, even though the divorce is now final, there's still some irons to iron out, to get out of the fire, so to speak. There's still some things that has to be put into action, and it's what we agreed to, and then what the judge said, and then what is being required. There is that ironing out, and it's frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, it is frustrating. A 3 and almost a half year, well, by the time that we get all ironed out, it'll be a 3.5 year process, but it was a 3 or 5 month divorce process. And quite honestly, I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. And the concussion, the brain injury, I'm wore out. And it all hit last Thursday. So as I felt myself falling off that cliff, and I could tell it wasn't about the right now. So when we have those PTSD, when we have those panic attacks, it's not necessarily about the right now, the trigger, the hook. It is dredging up something from, in my case, went all the way back into my childhood, into my poverty mode. Like it struck, right? So this silly little thing, current day, which isn't little, it's actually quite fucking massive, because of the word, I won't even go into it. It's just too long. It doesn't matter. It's massive. It has a massive impact on my children and I. It's well played by the other legal team. And that's just what it is. So moving forward, I'm not going to be fighting and arguing and bickering anymore, because where we spend our energy, this is where I got by Friday morning, taking the dog to surgery, unexpected surgery. So of course, hitting on my poverty brain, because there's more money I didn't expect or necessarily have at a disposable space, right? So what does that do? That triggers our poverty, like our childhood. Money is so sacred, so scarce, right? And it is the root of all fights. It is the root of all of the problems, right? It's like money is this tangible, living, breathing thing, when in actuality, it is just another tool. It is just another tool. It is a tool like milk and eggs in your kitchen. Now, for some of you guys are going to be like, fuck that, Nita, you're totally wrong. But we have to remember, money isn't sitting down at its own dinner table place setting with us. It is not a living, breathing entity. It does not decide if I live or breathe, right? Unless, I've been kidnapped and I'm being held for ransom, which, I only got 33 podcast subscribers. That is not a risk at this point in my life. So a little humor for you right there. My point being, we just have to be really real that money doesn't have the power over us that maybe we were brought up to believe that it did. Because in all actuality, we are not at the whim and at the mercy of the almighty dollar. And if you were raised in a household or came up in a household of poverty, then you might have this more unhealthy survival instinct kick in, like I did. So when this whole financial abuse thing hit last week, and I went into PTSD or panic mode, PTSD mode, it was terrifying. I mean, my nervous system was activated from like, hey, life's amazing. I feel pretty good. I have a little tiny headache, a little concussion symptoms, to holy fuck, I can't breathe, which really was just, as my therapist, Jose, my psychodynamic therapist says, that's your lizard brain kicking in. And it's true. Like, we go right back to that basic instinct for survival. I was not at risk of not surviving the moment. And that's an important distinction to know here. So anyway, even in that time frame, so dialing it all the way back around, in that time frame of that hectic, crazy day when things are just spinning out of control and I'm just getting hit right and left for multiple different financial issues, including like the dog and $700 surgery and blah, 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 right? And I can't get out of lizard brain. I can't get out of, although it was a pretty quick, like, time frame compared to like years ago. If you go way back on my podcast, it'd be like 2-3 days of PTSD. This was like a hard, I would say a hard 2 hours. And then it was just that after effect of exhaustion and, needing to be really present in my life. So kind of where I was going with this at the beginning, got totally, as I do, off on a sidetrack. When I was still trying to like kind of make money, right? Still in that like scarcity space, I kept pushing out for my new business, for the product, not the new business, the product, because it took me about a month and a half to write the product, get the product out there. I've got my team working on the product, but I had just flipped to, I'm using air quotes again, selling the product. In that day, while I was sliding around in my mud puddle of my emotional, spiritual, mental life, PTSD attack, panic attack, more PTSD. Anyway, regardless, I started pushing it out. I started pushing out the program through my main platform on Instagram to people. Just a little paragraph blurb. And you may have gotten that blurb, right? You may be one of those people that I sent that to. And then I sent a link to the program to. And thank you, Caroline, by the way. Shout out to my friend Caroline over in Ireland for jumping in and telling me, yes, even over here in Ireland, I am getting a image of the program. It's coming through, because sometimes when you're doing stuff through different countries, it doesn't look like it worked. So it was really awesome of her to show up and evidence to me that it works. So thank you so much. So even as I'm managing all these complexities of my life, as we all do, I am not special in this regard. We all do this, and you do, right? You know that sometimes when you need deep self-care, you deeply self-abandon, right? That's what we're trained to do really in our childhood. We're not necessarily trained for deep rest and deep self-respect. So I sent out a whole bunch about alignment within. And I have to tell you guys, like, when you launch a new program, and it's a good program, I mean, it's all the tools, tips, and tricks that brought me to where I am today and really can help other people build themselves, like build boundaries, build healthier relationships within themselves so they can have healthier relationships around them, and action goals, set goals, just really a fundamentally basic right? Just the basic skill sets, no matter where you're at on your journey, you will get something from this program. Anyway, so I sent it all out and I was in such a negative space. I was really cautious about fragile space, not a negative mental space, a fragile space. I was really cautious about what I wrote. I was really aware of what I wrote to people. I have to tell you guys, thank you, by the way. I got a lot of responses back. I did not get one negative response back. Out of that, and I spent about 2 hours doing this, I got several people that are going to go check it out. Several people want more conversations about it. Lots of, quiet people. That's fine. Everybody, they may hate it, but at least they didn't yell at me, right? For inboxing them this sales item from my business page. But then I got some really interesting things that came back. For instance, people who are interested in the program, but wondering, can I build one for the business that they have? And so that's an exciting conversations. Those are exciting conversations that are scheduled and upcoming. And what I got back from all of this, right? So from this entire exercise of launching Alignment Within out into the world, amidst coming out of a life-altering concussion, a switch in therapy, massive neurotherapies that I have had in the last year, to the extent that I didn't drive. I had to relearn how to drive. And, just massive physical injury. And then I go into this year, the divorce happens. There's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, just all of a sudden, the tectonic plates of Nita's life are moving, and everybody has something that they can relate to in their life that it's like, God, I don't want to touch that. Right? So the divorce activated certain things that had to happen within certain time frames. And some of that is difficult to see. How in the hell am I going to work that out? Right? And so that's where I fell a little bit off into that PTSD panic attack. But I pulled myself out of it really quick because I am super good at recognizing and grounding myself. It was the first PTSD panic attack that was not associated with concussion recovery that I have had in a very long time, like for 2022. All of 2022. I know we're in 2023. That is not a brain thing. It's not Nita being concussed. Anyway, just had to share that with you, that success, that even in my moment of despair, when I am forcing myself to be productive, again with the air quotes, I still came out of that quickly grounding. I do consider 2 hours quickly grounding. Honest conversations with my children about the reality of certain things. Doesn't matter the details. And nobody, like literally resoundingly through that, backing up, I pushed out my business and successfully went through a very uncomfortable spot for me. It is very hard to make your little product. We're going to call it like, purple gumdrop lemonade. And you have to go out there in the world and find the people who want to drink purple gumdrop lemonade. Now, it's not just purple gumdrop lemonade, right? You've got 82 different little additives to your purple gumdrop lemonade stand, but it really is still about getting people to show up and be open. Now, think about that in your life. How often in your life are you just needing somebody to hear you out, to give you a moment to see if your idea might resonate? Or those ideas that you don't share out loud with the world, right? Because let's get real. Most of us keep our dreams locked away in our head. My program is designed to help you get those dreams out of your head and do the hard, icky, gross things that you have to do to get to the point of launching and walking in and living in your dreams. Even in that point where it's not fully financially like everything that you need it to be, but you're still showing up for yourself. That's a pretty exciting product. A little bit better than pink lemonade gumdrops, purple lemonade gumdrops. Gumdrop lemonade. I don't remember what I called it. You get my point though. Okay. Showing up for yourself, just like listening to this podcast today, showing up for yourself, bringing in new ideas is such a gift to all of us. I spent all last week taking a course and honestly just grew. Some of it, there wasn't one thing in it that I was like, oh my God, that's so revolutionary. I've never heard of that. But there was a zillion little things in it that twisted the way, like just twisted it just enough. Like, maybe I'm looking at it 12 o'clock and this person, like she presented it. And now I'm looking at it like the clock hand moved. Even 1 minute is movement forward to the progress, goals, dreams, and hopes and desires that I have for my life. When I look backward and I measure my life backward and I go back to 2017, 18, like I could not breathe. I was so upside down in an unsafe, unhealthy, generationally traumatic home. The generational abuse and trauma was off the scale. I could not breathe. I was losing myself. I was losing my children, and I didn't know what to do. And here I am. I didn't action anything. Let's get real. I did not action change until 2019. March and September of 2019. March, we separated in that home, immediately became a little bit better. And September, I filed for divorce. It immediately became a hell of a lot worse. Okay. And for those of you that may have ever experienced a cycle of abuse, that will make sense. The love bombing, and then I don't remember what the next cycle is after that, but when you kind of go back around and you're like getting mentally, emotionally beat the fuck up again. Okay. Not physically. It is important to find every tool, every tip, every trick in the book, every program, everything that you can do, every article. I remember I spent 2+ years secretly going through articles on, the internet, to see if what I was experiencing was just isolated to me. Like I was some 2 million-year-old ice particle hidden at the bottom of a glacier, like under the water, right? On the top of the iceberg, and then there's the glacier and the under. Anyway, regardless, what I learned is that I was not alone, and neither are you. We are all, we have so much in common, all of us. And the sooner that we can recognize that, be forgiving of that with other people and with ourselves, the sooner we can move forward and we can implement change. Because if you have ever done this disgusting thing, I'm going to give you this, and then I'm going to wrap us up. If you have ever asked yourself, is this my life? Those words, is this my life? Kind of makes me want to cry, because I asked myself that for a few years. Is this my life? It's disgusting, isn't it? I mean, it's absolutely a disgusting question. And yet, I don't know the statistics, but I'm going to estimate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in this world are asking themselves just that. And I'm here to tell you I'm here to evidence to you that as I stand before you doing this podcast in a parking lot while my child is in therapy, it doesn't have to be your life. Have those hard conversations with yourself. Use a tool like Alignment Within. Buy a book, read an article, anything that you can do to start learning more about whatever it is that you are not talking about. Because I can guarantee you, if you are at the end of suicidal ideation, or if you are at the end of sobriety, like if you are falling off the sobriety wagon, if you are off the gambling wagon, if wherever you're at, there are other people there too. There are other people like me. I was lost in obedience and people pleasing. Those were my deathly escapes. And I'll tell you what, they were just about to kill me. It doesn't have to be your life. If you have ever asked yourself that, or if you know somebody who has, share this podcast with them and say, please give this 30, what's it going to be? Maybe by the end, 40 minutes of your life. Give this podcast 40 minutes of your life. I'm telling you, when I look backward at my life, I am just on the threshold of a fully unknown everything. Everything, those tectonic plates of my life are just jostling back and forth. And I couldn't be more blessed. I couldn't be more resoundingly happy. When I got through the panic attack and the PTSD attack last week of the financial abuse, it was like, nothing's fucking different about this. This financially corrupt moment is nothing different than I have experienced my whole fucking life. I'm 53 years old, so who cares? Let it go, Nita. Get over it. That's what I had to tell myself. Took a day. It took a day. I'm doing a little car dance right now. But I did. I got over it. Does it still irk me? Yes. Did I talk to my therapist about it Monday night? Yeah, I did, because it still pisses me off. It's wrong. But you know what? That's why I got the divorce. That's why I decided to change my life, because I was sick of constantly fighting the battle. Check out Alignment Within on yourinfinitynation.com. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for following. I am so excited that you're here. I'm going to wrap us up right there because I've got a kid coming out of therapy right now. Have an amazing day. I am so proud of all of you guys. And thank you guys for following the journey. Have a great day. Bye.